Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest info about hunting, fishing, boating, and wildlife watching. Now make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We got an awesome show lined up for you today. Amy Spencer's helping me co-host, and we are at the Herb Parsons Refuge and Bill Dance State Fishing Area.
Yes.
That's the new name here.
That's the new name.
And if you know Herb Parsons Lake, or you're going to be familiar with where we are today, and it's a little cloudy today, but people are out here fishing, and we've made some huge improvements here. I think you're going to enjoy today's conversation, and we got a great group of folks here with us. So Travis Scott, our Assistant Chief of Fisheries, is here in the green, and then we got John Hammonds, our Small Lake and Habitat Manager, at the end of the table, and then Nathan Warden, our Fisheries Manager here on the property. Thank you guys for being here with us and helping us drive this conversation today.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Don't be shy now. Jump on in there. Jump on in there. So major improvements. A lot of things have been going on here. It's been closed for a while, and it's now open for folks to come out and enjoy. But Travis, before we get started, can we dive? And this wind's going to blow my notes away today. But let's dive into some of the details. Tell us what this reopening means for Tennessee anglers and outdoor enthusiasts that use this property.
Oh, yeah. A lot of our agency lakes, like this lake, was created in the late 1950s. And so over time, the condition has deteriorated, even through our best efforts over that amount of time. But with part of this Bill Dance Signature Lake, we wanted to make some improvements. Okay. And so that's what we've done here. And it's been both in the water, above the water, greatly expanded. The reason for the most recent closure was the parking lot. We totally redid that. I mean, we expanded it, far more parking. It's paved now, but we've also expanded the boat ramp, courtesy dock, fishing pier, so many things. And now, since the parking lot, that was the main reason for the closure. Now that it's finished and complete and looks great, we're able to open it back up, and should be exciting times for folks to get back out on the water.
Awesome. And we'll dive more into some more of these enhancements and things specifically that happen. But yeah, this I think, if I'm guessing, the dock or the ramp is much wider now. The parking lot looks great. I can really see when this place greens up this spring, it's going to be nice.
Oh, yeah. I think we expanded the parking by like 3 times, I think.
Wow. Awesome. Amy, I'll kick it to you.
Yep. Herb Parsons and Bill Dance are such legendary names in Tennessee. So what does this name change signify for TWA?
Oh, yeah, definitely honoring just that tradition, that outdoors tradition that Tennessee is famous for. And obviously Herb Parsons was a legendary trick shooter in this area that brought a lot of notoriety to Tennessee. And then, of course, Bill Dance. What more can you say about Bill Dance? Such a great ambassador for the state, for fishing, and for TWRA. And we're so proud to be able to put his name on this lake and make it the type of lake that he would want to go fish.
Yeah, and we're real close to his hometown, and this is his neck of the woods, and he's been known to come out here a few times, right, Nathan?
Correct. He lives less than 5 miles from here, so he's out here checking on everything, seeing the progress going on.
Yeah.
It's good that when you're out here working, he'll just show up and roll the window down and say, "Hey, guys, how's it going?"
Yeah, and I'm sure if he can find time, he'll get out there and fish too. So, well, let's talk about some of the enhancements. Well, first, let me jump back. John is with us today, and he's in a new role. Tell us about what that. There's been a little bit of restructure in fisheries and some of the assignments, but you've got a new position. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the restructuring's been going on for quite a while, and they're finally getting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And I don't know if it's the puzzle's the right name, but at least there's pieces that's in place to move forward. And we were just talking earlier that, it's like the pathways of basically a jungle, and behind us is supposed to be a paved highway.
Yeah.
So a lot of work ahead. But I'm excited about the opportunity. But, yeah, I'm going to be the new I guess I am now. It's still doing both roles a little bit, but I was the former reservoir manager in East Tennessee, and now I'll be the Small Lakes and Habitat Manager, Program Manager for the state. And that will involve a lot of the Bill Dance work as well. and talking about how much he was a legend. The every time you go see him in public, it doesn't matter if he's with other famous anglers like Roland Martin, all the Jimmy Houston, all the folks back in the 80s that became famous at the same time. But you'll see those guys kind of out on their own, and Bill Dance has a crowd. It's always a crowd following him, and he welcomes everybody with open arms. And you can see, like Nathan was talking about, that he approaches this project with that same enthusiasm and attitude, and he just loves fishing and loves people that fish. So I'm definitely excited to get to work with that group and help continue to enhance and build on the work that Nathan's done, not only here but around the other parts of the state. So it's a great opportunity. I'm excited.
Yeah, very cool. Well, and you mentioned the community lakes and family lakes and things like that. Those all can be found on our website, tnwildlife.org, and we're looking at ways to make those easier to access, improve, try to find you a place to go fish. And so I look forward to working with you on some of that stuff and making it easier for the public to find our great fishing opportunities across the state. So, all right. So we mentioned the areas have been closed since July.
2025, yep.
Yeah,
July
2025 for improvement. So let's walk through some of the major things. We mentioned them, but let's kind of get in some details about what's been done here. And Nathan, I may be let you jump in first. And we mentioned the parking, and that's probably one of the biggest. So what all's been done going on here?
And we'll start with the above the ground, what you can see.
Okay.
So, like we said, the paving of the parking lot, the expansion of the parking lot, we can fit 3 times more boats now than previous years. And the ramp, you can essentially fit 6 boats easily launching at the time. So there's no waiting to launch your boat or when you're retrieving your boat. Just quick and easy. Pull up, park, nice paved spot. Don't have to worry about getting muddy or anything anymore. And then we also have designated parking for our bank fishermen, which we can't forget about them. There's a lot of bank fishermen here.
Definitely.
And there's a trail around the entire lake, which you can walk around to access all the fishing points. And also our courtesy pier behind us, it's really nice, floating. So when our water levels are fluctuating, you can still use that.
One thing about this lake is, you said it, the bank fishermen and the accessibility. There is so much accessibility. From right here, everywhere you look, you can see, you can easily walk to. You don't have to worry about walking through the tall grass. It's easy. It's got rocks. It's a nice area, and we can't forget about the accessibility here, because that's huge. Yeah,
and we'll get under the water too in a minute, because I see there's some fish attractors and things on the bank, so it's easy for bank fishermen as well. But so staying above the habitat and things. We got a concessionaire building here. It's still here, but there's going to be some renovations done to that down the road, right?
Correct. It's all in the works. We have a plan drawn up and with architects, and working on the actual dirt work part coming soon, and construction's going to start this summer.
Okay.
So you'll actually see progress on that. And we also were able to get an extra T fishing pier for our bank fishermen to walk out on. We moved the old one to another location to double our pier access.
Okay.
But back on the concessionaire building, it's going to be top of the line building with all the amenities for our anglers, and they'll be able to purchase their bait there, licenses, food, snacks, drinks. And then we'll also have an office building at a later point built in another location here on the property.
Okay. And real quick, not really pertaining to the lake, but what else happens here? I know your office is located here, so you're here quite a bit, right?
Well, I'm actually located out of Jackson most of the time.
Okay.
And we have a new manager who's hired for this particular area.
Perfect.
And he's going to start next week.
Okay.
And so we'll spend a little time getting him up to speed. And
so by the time this airs, he'll already be here?
He will.
So what's his role going to be doing?
He's going to be the day-to-day manager here, and he'll be in charge of all of the maintenance here, as well as he'll be tasked with dealing with the sampling and any fish data we need to collect here from this location.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's talk about what's going on under the water. So the lake's been lowered, or this time of year it probably lowers naturally some, but it's been lowered so some habitat improvements can be made.
For the past 2 years, we've been lowering the lake in the wintertime doing a winter drawdown just like you would see on some of your larger reservoirs that they do, but it'll concentrate your forage fish for your mainly bass are our main predator species in these lakes. So you concentrate the forage, makes it easier for your bass to catch, bass grow bigger. And on those same lines, some more underwater that we're doing is the habitat as well as forage fish stockings. So they're just like us. I mean, the easier it is to find a meal, the bigger we're going to get. So we're trying to make them as big as they can get.
Yeah. So people could come out here and say, I caught a whopper, you know, and it's like they get excited about that.
And it's with the fish population, it takes time. It's not just day and night, flip a switch and everything's changed, but we're making positive steps in increasing the size of our bass here as well as our other fish. And don't think it's just strictly bass. There's red ear here, bluegill, catfish. People love catching catfish here as well.
I think it's important that people understand that it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And when you stock fish, you're not stocking whoppers, as I said earlier, but you're stocking, fingerlings and things like that it takes some time, to grow up, But
yeah, we'll stock a fingerling 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, and then we're seeing fish now in the 8 to 10 pound range. So,
wow, I need to come out here and fish. Find some time.
Why didn't we bring a boat today?
Yeah, I don't know. So we mentioned the forage and things that are going on in the drawdown and how that helps. But talk about some of the stake beds and the fish habitat and things that are happening.
Some of the habitat projects that have happened here is there was a storm a couple of years ago here, a bad windstorm, and it blew down lots of trees. Some of them actually fell into the lake to create habitat, but several of them, the crew that was here before, Damon Boyce and Sam Stewart, they took it upon themselves and began taking those trees and either cutting them up some so they were managed to be moved with a skid steer or a tractor and placing them. So we have brush piles placed along certain areas where those fish will go to hide. And then also constructed several artificial structures. And anything from log type structures to tree type structures to brush type structures at a pipe.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they'll be there forever, whereas our wood deteriorates over time.
Well, I think, that extra effort and that extra work makes a huge difference. And it's important that people know that it's mimicking natural habitat and it helps make those fish grow bigger and have a place to hide and great fishing opportunities. Speaking of some of the artificial habitat, I mean, John, up in your area, they do the reef balls, right?
Yeah.
Those are cool. Tell folks about those. I don't think there's any here, but it's just those are cool ways to create habitat, I think.
Yes, sir. I was wanting to jump back 1 second to the work Nathan's doing. If you can put about 30% coverage of habitat out in the water, you can actually see fish populations increase. There's a couple studies that's been shown where that's happened. Now, it's not a guarantee like anything in nature, but so this is a perfect example where that could happen. So not only are we stocking fish, but they can make more on their own if you provide enough habitat, because that first year of that they're on this earth is the most critical. So the more habitat, the more hiding places, this kind of carries up the food chain. But yeah, the reef balls are a very unique structure. They're made of concrete. They look like a wiffle ball cut in half is the best way to describe them.
Yeah.
But that technology was developed for recovering reefs in Florida, around the coast, like oyster reefs. And now they've carried it literally around the world. They do projects all over. I don't know if it's every major ocean, but at least 2 or 3. But the folks down there that invented it, or came up with the idea, I guess, way to say it. But we were one of the first few states, I think maybe the second or third in the U.S. to use them in freshwater. Saw some positive results. And so anytime you put habitat quote out there, it's something that fish can hide and move around in and do their life. And if you can keep it up off the bottom, it's the best.
Okay.
So that's what's good about those reef balls is you can keep the brush elevated a little bit. And it provides, different types of habitat than just something sitting on the bottom. So we've used that information as well, like states like Missouri, Oklahoma, there's others that have got a lot of research to support that theory that if it's up off the ground, it does better. So that's one of the good advantages about reef balls. But the things that the guys doing here are very similar, like I described with putting those the trees that fell.
Yeah.
You can put blocks or whatever under them, and it's the same kind of theory. But yeah, they're a neat thing, and we're excited to continue to use them, at least there in Region 4 in East Tennessee.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. We mentioned bank fishing and things like that, but are there other amenities and things that are happening that helps families or new anglers, make it easy for them out here? I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but just kind of reiterate what helps get families out here on these lakes like this.
Well, if I could, I'd like to talk about that because it is a really family-friendly area because there is so much open area and easily accessible bank access. And we talk about the habitat. A lot of that habitat is right around the bank where you can access it, where those fish are, and increase your catch rates. Of course, our fishing piers, 2 of those fishing piers allow you to get to a little bit deeper water where there's some habitat associated with that as well. One thing I was super excited about on this project is we were able to put a levee and a water control structure on this cove behind us so we can control that water level and have dedicated events, maybe some R3 events or recruitment, retention, and reactivation events there where we can, and we had one last year. Unfortunately, there was a rainstorm that came up.
Thunderstorm.
Yeah, but it's a great place to introduce new people to angling, new anglers, but also to have family events, to have families there that maybe don't have the experience, didn't grow up fishing, don't have that history or tradition. Gives us an opportunity to educate them on that and get them involved in the sport and carry on Bill Dance's legacy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I didn't realize that option was here. I love that idea, to be able to isolate. That's great for our free fishing events and other fishing events that happen.
Exactly. We can bring some catfish and stock it in that small area and really help increase those catch rates and give folks that experience of catching their first fish.
Get them excited about it, and they'll come back for more, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's talk about a little bit of the history. I want to dive into some of that. So Herb Parsons Lake has a long history here. What makes this location unique compared to other fishing spots in Tennessee and maybe some of our other fishing lakes like this? Whoever wants to jump in on that one, yeah.
Well, I can start off. Just one of the biggest things would be the population nearby. I mean, we're 30-minute drive from Memphis. Collierville's right in the backyard. I mean, there's a lot of people around that don't even know this is here, and hopefully after they'll see this, come out, take a look at it, because it's a great place. I mean, you can escape the city, come out here, watch the birds, do whatever, bring a rod and reel, your whole family come out and go fishing.
Yeah.
It's a nice place.
Well, you mentioned the birds and stuff. I mean, yeah, wildlife watching could be an opportunity here. Do you see deer and other wildlife?
We see deer, turkeys, all of our bird species, essentially. And the name Herb Parsons Refuge held true last week in all the freezing weather. The lake was covered in geese and ducks.
Right. Wow, that's awesome. And there's no hunting out here, right?
No hunting on this location.
Yeah. Refuge. No hunting. Well, that's cool. And folks who just love to come watch and take photos and things like that, an opportunity here for them. Picnic tables. I've seen picnic tables.
Yeah.
There's places to have little picnics.
And it's a big area. It's nearly 500 acres total, the entire refuge, and the lake itself is 177 acres. And so with that walking trail around it, you've got access. There's like 5 miles of bank access, essentially.
So when you say there's a walking trail around it, it's all the way around it.
Yes.
Right?
All the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, if I'm looking through the trees, I can kind of see where the path is. So that's really cool. I mean, 500 miles worth of bank access.
5 miles.
5 miles. I said 500. Yeah. So we just increased this property. No, 5 miles.
So that makes it easy for folks to find their own area and get away from other anglers and have plenty of room to enjoy the day.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Bill Dance Signature Lakes. Travis, maybe you can jump in on this one. Let's talk about Bill Dance Signature Lake program. Maybe people aren't familiar with it, but it's a program that's going to be going across the state. How is this helping some of our lakes, our big lakes, our small lakes, and things like that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Bill Dance Signature Lake Program is a partnership between Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, our state parks, Tennessee Department of Tourism, and then the Bill Dance Group. We've received some dedicated funding from the governor to fund the Bill Dance Signature Lakes program, and that's allowed us to do a lot of these great improvements. And so there's kind of 2 aspects to the Bill Dance Signature Lakes program. One is above the water improvements at some of our larger lakes, like here locally or fairly locally, Pickwick Lake. We did a big project there. Of course, there's a state park in and in, but part of our efforts there was to improve the access. There's a courtesy pier there for when they're having anglers are fishing, they have a place to pull up and get out of the lake. So some big, and that's happening at large reservoirs across the state. Douglas Lake, we've done a huge improvement on the parking area there. Chickamauga, similar things, courtesy docks, fishing piers, improving boat ramps. So we've completed Douglas. We've done some work at Reelfoot, another state park. But all across the state, making improvements on some larger reservoirs to that physical accessibility, whether it's fishing piers or courtesy docks or improving the parking areas and boat ramps. But also on a small lake, even though it's 177, we consider this one of our small lakes in that program. And so there's several of these across the state. Herb Parsons, we're working on Browns Creek Lake. We've done some improvements there, but and on the small lakes, that's where we have the opportunity underwater to have a much larger impact because they're smaller lakes.
Yeah.
When John's talking about 30% of the shoreline having habitat, that's easier to do when it's a 177 acre lake than when it's a 30,000 acre reservoir. So we can have a bigger impact, and also on our stockings, we can stock at a higher rate on these smaller bodies of water. And we've been stocking a ton of forage in these bill dance lakes, doing a lot of habitat work. We're installing fish feeders to boost the health of our bluegill populations, and also feeding the catfish and helping them. And so making a lot of improvements both above and below the water to really make these fishing destinations that they're great for the whole family to come out and almost guaranteed catching a nice fish.
And it's Bill Dance approved, right? He's heavily involved in these meetings.
Yeah. He's been involved in the meetings and planning and setting some of the goals for the program, certainly.
Yeah. You mentioned fish feeders and some of that going on. It makes me think of Fall Creek Falls. That's another one. Great opportunities there for fishing, similar to this lake, I guess. It's a decent-sized lake.
Yeah.
And great opportunities there, too.
Oh, yeah. Fall Creek Falls is even bigger than this lake. And,
okay.
Again, we've done similar programs there as far as stocking, habitat work, and some improvements for accessing the lake. But what that's resulted in, we were able to do a creel survey on Fall Creek Falls and got an idea of just how much usage we're getting at this lake. We're driving anglers to that lake, and we're seeing an economic benefit in the local economy from that. The estimate from that creel survey on Fall Creek Falls was there's over around $450,000 in direct expenditures in that local economy from anglers going to fish at Fall Creek Falls.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Great impact there. So the long-term vision, we probably mentioned it already, but what's it looking like in the future for these properties?
Oh, wow. We're continuing with some of the improvements on the large lakes. Like there's a improvement at Timms Ford Lake where we're going to be redoing the boat ramp, a fishing pier, courtesy dock, big project that's going to be happening down there on Timms Ford on the large lake. We've got some other improvements on some other larger lakes that are still in the planning phases. And then on the small lakes, we're just continuing. We've got contracts in place to continue habitat work, continue the forage stockings, and continue with fish feeders and fish feeding, but also catfish stocking at some of those lakes. So that's going to continue. Oh, and two big projects we've got in the works. It's dragging on a little longer than we had hoped, but we're working on getting a contract together to make some huge improvements at Travis McNatt Lake at Big Hill Pond State Park and Woodhaven Lake at Montgomery Bell State Park. Both of those lakes were drained for some work that the state parks were doing there. Some of it was in conjunction with the Bill Dance Signature Lakes program. So we're taking that opportunity to start from scratch. Both of those lakes, those fisheries were in really bad shape. There had been some species introduced, undesirable species you wouldn't necessarily want, like carp, common carp, that were causing problems in the lakes. And so this gives us the opportunity to start from scratch and really manage these lakes at an intense level. And so we're working through the contracting process in that right now to start rebuilding those lakes and create true destination fisheries.
I think the partnership's really cool. Without state parks involved, we wouldn't have maybe be working on some of their properties, but then they offer places to stay. So if you want to go enjoy some of these lakes and some of these opportunities, you can stay at the state park, camp at the state park, play golf if you want to on some of these properties. There's a lot of great opportunities on these state park areas, and that partnership is great.
Definitely. Yeah. This wouldn't be possible without our partners. I mean, we've worked together to really develop these into true destination fisheries, like you said, that have all the amenities that you would want when you go to a location as well.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody's coming out here, maybe their first time after the reopening here, and maybe after the water level comes up a little bit more and there's better access around the bank. What's some pro tips, Nathan? Now I know you know some. Don't hold back now. What's some tips for people coming out here to fish?
If you're coming out and you just want to catch a fish, live bait's going to be your best option. Worms, crickets, like you said, when it warms up some more.
Yeah.
And then you could also use minnows, but spinners always do good, pretty much. Or you could fish a worm, like a lizard, or if you're going after your bass, but live bait's going to be your best bet if you just want to catch a fish.
Okay, yeah. I think that's true in a lot of places. I mean, you're going to have luck most of the time with live bait.
And if you've got kids, they love to play with the bait. Yeah. I mean, how many times have we taken our own kids and they're playing with the minnows more than they're
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun. It does keep them entertained.
Yeah, definitely. And you just throw it under a bobber and watch that thing for a few minutes. You know, you're gonna be good to go. It's gonna be a fun time.
If I could mention, though, currently, we're in the process of rebuilding the concession building. So currently we don't have those live bait on site. There's no bait. So we want to recommend folks, if they're coming, to be prepared to bring all their fishing tackle. And if they are going to use live bait, to go ahead and purchase that ahead of time. And also, we do have a drop box here to purchase the permit if they don't buy it ahead of time. So we do have that available. But make sure that they come prepared, because there's not a store right next door.
Still in a work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. So make sure they bring their, bring a lunch, bring some snacks, bring some drinks to make it a nice, successful day with the kids.
Make sure you got the proper permits and everything. And like you said, there's an honor system honor box here too. If you don't have that, if you don't buy that online, tnwildlife.org. A lot of this information is there as far as what's all the different lakes and places.
There's also a Bill Dance Lakes at TN Vacations, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
There's another place for some information on all those Bill Dance Lakes.
Yes. Great show, guys. Great information. I appreciate y'all coming out here and letting us hang out on property and check it out. And just thanks. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for having us out. Gave us a good excuse to come fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to do the show in the boat.
I know. That's maybe we get a pontoon. We get us a big boat. I'll be on there.
That's a good idea.
All right, next episode. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, Amy, thank you for co-hosting today. Thank you guys out there for watching, listening. Share our show. If you listen on your favorite podcasting platform, YouTube, whatever it is, share it, subscribe, like, and just keep coming back. And we'll see you next time.
Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org. And follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can invest in Tennessee's wildlife future by purchasing a license at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com. That's GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.